Hello friends, so today's video is going to be a book haul. I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm actually going to start with some books that I have recently pre-ordered. I did a whole video discussing the supply chain shortage. I'll have it linked down below. There is a giveaway in that video also, but it kind of goes into why a lot of things going on in the world are going to be affecting whether or not we are able to get our hands on certain books or in the amount of time that we would normally expect to get those books, and why pre-ordering right now is rather important, those sorts of things. So if you would like to hear more information about that, I'll have that linked. But either way, I did end up pre-ordering a lot of books. And normally I would not discuss pre-orders, I would wait until I get them. But because I think it's a little bit more significant to pre-order books right now, I just kind of want to reiterate all of that and share with you some books that I have pre-ordered. A couple that are coming out very soon. One would be She Who Rides the Storm. The other would be The Iron Widow. So She Who Rides the Storm is a book that I didn't know all that much about. I haven't seen a whole lot of people discussing, but when I did my anticipated releases video, I share with all of you that I saw Brandon Sanderson blurb this book. It didn't look like the kind of book I would normally see Brandon Sanderson's name attached to. So I have pre-ordered that one. And then I also pre-ordered Iron Widow. So you've probably heard me talk about all of these books in anticipated releases or maybe even my fall TBR. Iron Widow is one where it's taking ancient history, it's taking Chinese history, but then it's adding some very fun flares to it. I believe there's going to be a lot to do with like techs and giant robots and things like that. Every early review I've seen of it has loved it, so I'm really excited about this one. I can't wait to get to it, but those are the first two. They'll be coming out very soon. After that, we have Steel Striker. I had the book Sky Hunter on a recent TBR. I read it in a day. I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoy a lot of Marie Lu's books, so I had liked that one. It definitely leaves off wanting, you want to know more that happens after that, and so I went ahead and pre-ordered Steel Striker. I was hoping that that would happen because when I saw the release was coming out soon, I was like, I need to read that first book before that second one comes out, and then that way if I like the first one, I can get the second one. By the way, I just want to show you all really quick. I think I've mentioned it a few times, but really quick, I want to show you what this book looks like, the first one, when it doesn't have its sleeve. How pretty is that? Sorry for my fingerprints. How beautiful is this book? And the spine, the back, dirty with the light shining on it. I can see all the effects of my fingers. When I was a kid, I would draw. I like to draw, and I would always get black smudges all over the side of my hand and my arm, and I'd touch my face at some point because I have an itch, and then I'd go on my face, and then I'd hit light switches and get on the light switches. I'd open a door, I'd get on the doorknob, and my mom would always be like, come on, and really frustrated because she really likes things clean, and I understand. But there was one time I was drawing, and my husband came home, and he was like, have you been drawing? And I was like, yeah, how did you know? And I had black marks all over my face. So anyway, my fingers are often dirty. I swear I wash them. I have decent hygiene, but anyway, they get on my books. But I swear, minus the fingerprints, this book is gorgeous, and I'm excited to see if they do something beautiful like this to the sequel. Also, I like that they have this on the pages. I liked the book also. When I do a wrap-up, I will discuss this further. It's sci-fi. I feel like very fast-paced. If I have any complaints, I actually wish it was a little bit longer because I think there's a lot to the society that I wanted to know a little bit more about. I liked our main character. I wanted to get to see her more. I wanted to get to see her relationships with other characters more. But it is a shorter book, and not every book needs to be super long, and not every book needs to be Way of Kings, basically, where it's like, let's find everything out about Kaladin. I also pre-ordered The Keeper of Night. This is one that I have seen basically nobody discussing, but it follows a character who kind of half her life is involved in Europe and then half her life is sort of involved with Asia, and she has powers sort of that are pulling from lore that has to come from both places. It sounds really cool. It sounds kind of dark. A little bit, the description reminded me of Shadow of the Fox. For those of you who haven't read that, it's basically an anime and a book. I really like that trilogy. And that one has a lot of Japanese folklore where the demons, the monsters, it's very dark, but it kind of has a wholesome feel to it because our main character is just that cutest, and it's a really interesting juxtaposition. So I like that series a lot, and this one, some of the darker things that are hinted at in the synopsis make me think of that one. Maybe they won't be like at all, but either way, I'm really excited about it, and I've heard nobody talking about it. After that, we have Little Thieves. This is a fairy tale retelling, and it just seemed like the perfect book to pick up around the fall, winter season. And then, to surprise absolutely no one, I pre-ordered The Bone Shard Emperor. I really liked the first book, The Bone Shard Daughter, and I really want that sequel. I want to know what's going to happen next. The first one is so trippy toward the end, and you're like, what the heck? And I was really pleasantly surprised. I really liked the ending. I liked that book in general, so I want to know what's going to happen next. A couple of new releases that are officially already out that I picked up from Barnes & Noble would be Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, and then the third book in the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. Both of these are by very popular authors that I don't think most of you need me to discuss. This is the author of the First Law trilogy, and then Bridget Kemmerer she's written quite a few things, but the fantasy story that a lot of us know her from would be the Curse Breakers series, or the first book being A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and I think this is the beginning to a new fantasy series. I enjoyed the first trilogy, but I liked the first one in it the most, and I didn't love everything about how the rest of the story wrapped up, but I still overall enjoyed it. But I want to see how her next fantasy series goes. I'm really excited about it. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I don't really want to know a whole lot about it. I just kind of want to jump in. This next thing is very random. It is not what I usually pick up as far as books go, and that would be a national parks book. So I don't know about all of you. I really like to travel, and I like to be really prepared when I travel, but for some reason I have just never liked a lot of travel books. They either feel outdated or they're not really particularly user-friendly. I don't know how else to put it, but they don't seem as helpful as I would like them to be. And this book, I saw it at my local used bookstore, Changing Hands. If you ever get the chance, Changing Hands is awesome. But I saw this there and I was kind of like, I sort of want that. So if you are like me and you enjoy traveling and you are interested in going to lots of national parks, I highly recommend this book. So at the beginning, I'm just going to give you like a little overview. At the beginning, they have a map of the US, and then they have all the little dots for the various different national parks, and then they have them by name, and then they tell you where they are in the book, so it's easy to flip to those particular national parks. Let's say that you wanted to learn more about the Redwood National Park, so you'd flip over to that part of it. I'm going there next year. I'm so excited. So that's what this tab is for. And they have really nice pictures. They then also give you an overview of, what to expect, the kinds of animals and plant life that you might see while you're there. They give you an idea of where are some good places that you can stay while you're there. And then I feel like I'm reading a children's book to my class. They have the pictures a lot of times of the various places that they're encouraging you to visit. And then my favorite part, they give you a mock-up itinerary depending on how long your stay is. And for the bigger parks, the estimated itineraries are going to be longer. So they'll have if you're here for 3 days, if you're here for a week. And then this one, because it's kind of smaller, they'll have 1, 2, and 3 days. And they give you an idea of, depending on how long you're there for, what they really think are the places you're going to want to stop at. I think it's fantastic. I've tabbed up ones that I've been to before, ones that my mom wants to go to, because she wants to go to usually completely different ones than me, and I'm like, one day we'll go together. So I've tabbed up ones that I know my mom would want to go to, and then my husband and I each picked our top, I think 5 or 6 that we want to go to next. We've tabbed all of that up, and I just think it makes it all that much more exciting. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me and a few other bookish people doing kind of accountability pals, where we take pictures because we're going to the gym and we're working out and stuff like that. And a big motivator for me is I like to travel. And when I travel, I want to go explore and I want to go on adventures and I want to see all the great outdoors and all the pretty waterfalls and the forests and see all the fun animals and things like that. So I want to have more endurance built up. I want to be able to hike and not be exhausted after a slight incline, those kinds of things. So for me, something like this, it gets me motivated. It also looks nice, just out on your coffee table. It's fun to flip through. It's also fun to discover more about national parks maybe that you haven't heard all that much about. Anyway, I know this is pretty unrelated and potentially really boring for some of you because you don't care at all, but if I can find a link to this, I will link it because I absolutely love this book. I think it's great. Back to our regular scheduled programming here. I also picked up another edition of the Full Metal editions of Full Metal Alchemist, so my husband and I are big fans of Full Metal, and these editions are super cool. So we picked up volume 14. I think we still need 13 also. I think we're missing that one, but they had this one in stock, so we picked it up. And the last book that I'll mention today would be, oh my gosh, this edition of Six Crimson Cranes. This is one of the most beautiful books I've ever owned. So the regular UK edition is also gorgeous. When I saw this edition, this is not part of this book haul, I'm just letting you know. I'm going to show side by side. When the author released this picture for the cover reveal of the UK edition, I was like, are you kidding me? That is so beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. The spine is pretty. The back is pretty. The colors, I think, are gorgeous. I love it. I think it represents the book really well. And then Fairy Loot had this edition, and I was like, well, I'm glad I liked it because I want that edition too. So here's what they look like side by side. I'm very curious which one you like more. I think they're both so pretty, but this one, so we've got pink on the spine and on the back, gorgeous, but it's got the cranes on the side. It's got 6 cranes, and then this little fun thing, which if you read the book, you know what this is. And I just think that detail is so pretty. And then the top and the bottom are purple. So the book as a whole is just absolutely stunning. It also has, in typical Fairy Loot fashion, reversible jacket. So you can, if you like this more, you can have this be your dust jacket on the outside. I think it's great. I love, again, the colors. And on top of all of that, they have this on the naked hardback, and it's in pink, and it's kind of engraved into the hardback, and I think it's just stunning. It's one of the absolute most beautiful books I've ever owned. I actually joined Fairy Loot. I finally got a subscription to them because I end up loving so many of their editions and then being like, dang it, because I don't have a subscription. I finally joined, and it was the month after this one was released, and I was like, no, and I was so frustrated. But luckily, in my effort to do the Versus videos, the first one's up now. It's for Red Rising, where I'm trying to get my hands on a bunch of different editions of various different books and series, and then show them to all of you and compare and contrast and things like that. In doing that video series, I've kind of been lurking in different buy-sell trade groups, and this one was definitely this is not for any one of those videos. I just really want that book. Speaking of the Versus video, I said this in the last book haul, have a lot of other books that I've gotten recently, but I gotta save them for those. So you will be seeing the Shades of Magic one very soon, and then I have another one that I'm planning on that will come out, I would say, as the weather is getting a little colder, because I think it's a fantastic cold weather read. And it also has absolutely beautiful editions. I'm wondering if any of you can peek at my bookshelves and figure out what the other book is that I'm going to be doing after that. Even if the books that I'm doing in that video series, maybe they're not books that you care that much about, or maybe you have read them and you didn't love them that much, or you have no interest in reading them, it's still really fun, I think, to check out these various different editions and see how different editions are from country to country, or from different special edition boxes, those sorts of things. So anyway, I will talk about those books in that video series soon. And then also I have some other books that I've gotten from book subscription services, so I will talk about those in an unboxing video soon because they came with some other things and I want to get to show all of you my raw reaction to those. I have a couple of them. I'm going to give you a sneak peek really quick of one of them. How beautiful are these editions of Ray Bear and Redemptor? Oh my gosh, the pages. Let me know what books you've gotten recently. Don't forget to check out that video where I have a giveaway going on. I'll have it linked down below. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.